protests are still planned for today despite heavy police presence that we've seen there. Tell us a bit more about that.
Well, that's right. And indeed, protesters are now back on the streets. There has been a bit of a game of cat and mouse today. These pro-democracy groups had originally called for a demonstration at the same location as last night, which is the most central intersection in commercial Bangkok, which they brought to a halt. The police several hours ago started barricading off the streets with barbed wire. They deployed heavy riot police units there. The protesters, very shortly before the start of the scheduled start, announced a different location. Now, it's not that far away. It's still in the heart of downtown Bangkok, but they are out on the streets again there, and police are now arriving. The police had spent a lot of time, invested a lot of resources into defending the site, which is now not the location. But we are seeing police arriving on that scene. They're bringing over water cannons, and it's just the first few minutes, and it could get very tense. The police have insisted that they will be arresting demonstrators.
Philip, as you've been speaking, we've been seeing some of those latest images of what's been happening there in Bangkok. Now, you mentioned the tension. Of course, this also comes after arrests this morning linked to the blocking of that royal cavalcade earlier this week.
Yes, these two arrests have taken place under a section of the law that is so little used that I don't think most people had heard of it. But it covers acts of violence against the Queen or other senior members of the royal family. What happened was that this motorcade passed some demonstrators. The reason for that sort of overlap is really not clear on Wednesday. All that the video footage shows and all that journalists at the scene reported was that there was jeering and heckling taking place. But the interpretation of violence against the Queen is quite broad, it seems, and two very prominent activists have been arrested. They surrendered for arrest. This law carries with it a minimum sentence of 16 years and a maximum of life in prison. It is a sign of how seriously the authorities here are planning to crack down on protesters. But as you're seeing from those pictures, they're back out on the streets, and they're intent that this is their moment, and they're not going home and not backing down.
Philip, thank you. Philip Sherwell there reporting for us from Bangkok.